Picture the scene in Lisbon for a second. The stadium is just absolutely electric, right? The home support is roaring. We are looking at a massive Group F clash in the European qualifiers where a super confident Portugal is hosting Hungary. Now, the stakes here literally could not be clearer. Portugal is sitting pretty with an outstanding lead at the top of the group, rocking a flawless, perfect record. I mean, they are potentially just 90 minutes away from officially booking their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. A victory tonight against Hungary doesn't just earn them 3 points, it pretty much guarantees their ticket to the biggest sports tournament in the world. It is a night built entirely for celebration. Okay, let's dive into this, because what actually unfolds on that pitch is a total masterclass in footballing drama. We go from a script that seemed totally pre-written for a massive Portuguese party, right straight to a conclusion that absolutely stunned the entire stadium into silence. In this explainer, we're going to walk through exactly how a heavily expected coronation turned into this desperate scramble and how that supposedly guaranteed ticket to the 2026 World Cup managed to slip right through Portugal's fingers in the dying, frantic seconds of stoppage time. To really grasp the sheer tension of this match, we have to look at the massive contrast in what both of these teams are fighting for. For Portugal, it's super simple. A win equals a rubber stamp on their progress to the 2026 World Cup, and it keeps that shiny, perfect qualifying record completely intact. But for Hungary, wow, they're fighting for survival. They just came off a win over Armenia, which, by the way, was only their second of the year, and that really strengthened their claim on the group. If Hungary can somehow manage to beat Portugal for the very first time in their history, suddenly, massive uncertainty returns to Group F. So both teams have absolutely everything on the line, just from completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Early on, things look pretty normal. Portugal starts putting on the heavy pressure, Bernardo Silva's carrying the ball, Cristiano Ronaldo is taking early shots, and everything feels like it's going exactly according to plan for the home team. But then, out of nowhere, disaster strikes in the box. Diego Costa gets down, makes a solid save from an initial effort, but the rebound results in a stunning goal for Hungary. Against all the odds, the visitors take the lead, and they take it really early. The home fans in Lisbon are just in absolute shock. You could hear a pin drop. And I want to emphasize, this wasn't just any ordinary goal. The live broadcast actually captured the gravity of the moment perfectly, stating, "The traveling support can celebrate the first goal that Hungary have ever scored in a qualifying match on Portuguese soil." Think about that. Hungary didn't just capitalize on an awkward bounce. They made literal history right there in Lisbon. For a team desperate to keep their World Cup dreams alive, striking first on away soil against a flawless Portuguese side is just the ultimate statement of intent. So the crucial point is, how does Portugal respond to a shock like that? Well, the answer revolves around one man and one massive number: 6. Cristiano Ronaldo is a man with immense, burning ambitions of playing in his 6th World Cup. Being down a goal at home simply isn't an option for a player with that kind of relentless drive. He immediately puts his head down and goes to work to right the ship. And of course, he doesn't just equalize, he completely takes over the end of the first half. This phenomenal comeback happens in 2 really precise steps. Step 1, Nelson Semedo finds a clever pocket of space as an extra man inside the penalty area. He beautifully squares the ball, and Ronaldo makes this totally instinctive run for a straightforward finish to restore parity. Bam! 1-1. Then step 2. Just before halftime, it happens again. This time it's the other fullback, Nuno Mendes, playing provider. Ronaldo's timing is absolutely impeccable. He grabs his second goal, single-handedly dragging his nation from a deficit straight into the lead before the halftime whistle even blows. Classic Ronaldo. Now, here's a wild bit of context for this performance. Just that very week, it was officially revealed that Cristiano Ronaldo is the first billion-dollar footballer. But as these 2 beautifully taken goals clearly show, he remains mostly interested in one thing: simply scoring goals. These actually marked his 8th and 9th international goals specifically against Hungary. In fact, to put that in perspective, he's only ever scored more goals against Luxembourg. When his country desperately required a lifeline to keep their World Cup qualification on track, the billion-dollar man delivered right on cue. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute chaos that erupted in the second half. Seriously, if you thought the first half was dramatic, the second half was just a frantic, relentless barrage of near misses. It was insane. Portugal's João Felix forces a massive 2-handed save from the Hungarian goalkeeper. Then, incredibly, Portugal hits the upright twice in rapid succession. First it's Bruno Fernandes, then Ruben Dias with an incredible effort. But Hungary, they are fighting back just as hard. They launch a wicked cross that cracks right off the underside of the crossbar, and the rebound is only kept out by a spectacular, heroic reaction clearance from Ruben Dias to prevent a certain equalizer. It is end-to-end, absolutely breathless football. As we get near the end of the match, you can literally feel the tension in the stadium. It's so thick you could cut it with a knife. Portugal has thrown absolutely everything at Hungary. Curling shots, wild headers, sustained, suffocating pressure. But they just cannot find that killer third goal to put the game to bed. And Hungary, they simply refuse to be beaten. Even after surviving that entire onslaught, they keep pushing forward. The clock hits 90 minutes, we tick into stoppage time. It really looks like Portugal is going to escape with a gritty 2-1 victory, but the visitors have one last, desperate surge left in them. A seemingly impossible pass gets played in behind the defense. A brilliant run totally opens up the space. And then, absolute tragedy strikes for the home side. Dominik finds the back of the net in the 91st minute. It is his 17th international goal, his very first of this qualifying campaign, and, as the TV commentary perfectly noted, it, quotes, puts Portugal's progress to the 2026 World Cup on ice. The stadium completely falls silent. Just a dramatic, gut-wrenching stoppage time equalizer that snatches away the victory at the very last possible second. Unbelievable. Let's move to and see how this builds across the entire 90-plus minutes, because you can perfectly map the emotional roller coaster these fans had to endure. You start with the brutal shock of Hungary making history early on. Then, the immense relief and elation as Ronaldo steps up, utilizes his fullbacks perfectly, and secures a double to take the lead going into the break. Then, you endure a second half filled with crazy shots bouncing off the woodwork on both ends of the pitch. And finally, you end on that crushing 91st-minute blow that changes absolutely everything. So, the final whistle blows, we're staring at a 2-2 draw and a totally dramatically shifted landscape in Group F. For Portugal, look, they still have an outstanding lead at the top of the group, but that beautiful, perfect record, it's broken. They can't rubber stamp their World Cup progress just yet. The whole celebration is delayed until next month. But for Hungary, this single point is massive. Coming back from a deficit to draw against the group leaders away from home significantly strengthens their claim on second place in Group F. It totally revives their own hopes for 2026. It was truly a night of historic firsts, incredible individual brilliance, and absolute late-game chaos. But it leaves us with one massive, lingering question. Will this 91st-minute heartbreak derail Portugal's momentum, or will being denied right at the finish line only fuel their fire for the remainder of the qualifiers? The perfect record might be gone for sure, but man, the journey to the 2026 World Cup is far, far from over.